Hi guys, in today's video we are going to be unboxing and talking about the Boox Go Color 7. But I will preface this with, I did buy this with my own money. I'm kind of still in that ongoing search for the perfect e-reader for me. So I did already unbox this. After that little clip, I'll be kind of talking about the specs, doing a little comparison to the Kindle Colorsoft, and kind of just like my likes and dislikes. I've been using this for about 3 days now as my main reading device. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the unboxing of this. When I did the unboxing, I kind of showed like after the initial startup and then the couple of apps that I downloaded. This out of the box does take quite a bit of kind of messing with to really get the settings good. Each app is going to kind of be different, so each app you're going to have to go in and they call it optimizing. It's a little bit annoying, but I feel like once you get everything set up, it's kind of just straightforward from there. But we'll start off with talking about the specs to this. You have the 7-inch Kaleido 3 screen, which is the same screen that the Kobo Libra Color uses and the Colorsoft uses. When you're in black and white, you're getting 300 ppi, and for color, it's 150 ppi, which that's the same, again, as the Kobo Libra Color and the Colorsoft. You do have the front light with the warm light settings. There's no dark mode setting. It's just like with the Kindle or the Kobo Libra Color, the main like UI system will never be in dark mode. But with this, it in like each individual app, if the app offers dark mode, you can turn that on. This comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of onboard storage. This does, however, have a little slot where you can put in a micro SD card, so you can expand the storage on this if you want to. And this does run with Android 12, so you do use the Play Store to download anything that you want. This does charge with a USB-C charger. It does have built-in speakers so you can listen to audiobooks or videos or anything like that on the actual device, but it also has Bluetooth capability to be able to connect to your headphones and listen that way. It also has the ability to connect like little Bluetooth clickers also, so you don't have to have that page turn button like you do with the Kindle. This also is $249.99. I ended up getting mine on Amazon because their site is a little bit weird. If you want to buy directly from them, it wouldn't give me an option to use anything other than PayPal, so I ended up buying it on Amazon. This does have a 2300 milliamp hour battery in it. Because you're running Android on here and it does have to run a lot more like apps and things in the background, the battery life in this is not quite as good as like the Kindle Colorsoft, and definitely not the Kindle Paperwhites, just the black and white ones. Those batteries are going to be significantly better, but even after sitting here messing with all the settings and having pretty much apps going 24/7, I don't remember the exact battery life that this came with. I know that's in my unboxing, like you can see the battery amount that when I first turned it on, but I have been messing with this nonstop and like going through not just reading my books, but like opening up different apps, scrolling through like the main pages on there, just looking at the different colors, like the book covers and everything like that. And it's going to take a second to start back up. I'm still at like 41% battery, which I think this only came with like, I want to say it was somewhere around 58% battery life. Yeah, I'm still at 42% battery, which to me, I feel like that's not bad for how much I've been doing on this with not reading. So like I said, with this running Android 12, you can go into the Play Store and you can just scroll through there and download literally any app that you can find on the Play Store. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to run good on this. Some of the things that I ended up downloading is I have my Kindle app, I have Hoopla, Libby, the Kobo Books app, and then I downloaded my Fable, Goodreads, and I did download Pinterest because on this you can save pictures onto here and you can set custom lock screens and you can get it to change every single time. So I just downloaded a couple cute things that I saw from Pinterest. To kind of preserve your battery life, you can also set this, you go into the power. So you can set it to auto sleep after a specific amount of time. You also can change the power off timing, so you can set it to different times. I have mine set to an hour, and so that's even if you have it in like the auto sleep thing, after an hour of you not picking up and using this, it'll auto shut it off, which I did that just because every time that I got up and walked away to do anything, I didn't want to have to come back and full restart it, but I also wanted to preserve as much battery life as possible, so I set it to a 1 hour. And for the most part, I feel like it's worked pretty well. You also can do this little freeze icon here. It'll make all the apps not run in the background. So again, another way to preserve battery life. One of the biggest reasons I got this is because I do really enjoy the physical buttons. These are technically volume buttons on here, and the kind of like niche thing to this is that in each app you can go through if it offers like change page with volume controls, which Kindle does and Libby does, so you can go into the apps and change that setting to use that, so then these become page turn buttons. And I wanted to start using Hoopla more, but I don't like reading on my phone or my iPad because I get headaches very easily with those. I found out that Hoopla does not offer page turn with volume controls, so I'd still have to swipe. So that was a big disappointment because it kind of defeated why I got this, because at that rate, I don't use any other reading apps besides those three, so I can just send my Libby books to my Kindle. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but I do think the Kindle app runs very well on this. My biggest problem, and part of the reason why I'm not quite sold on this, is because the dark mode within the app, like this looks good. Reading during the day looks good. It still is a little bit more screen-like with this versus the Kindle Colorsoft. I feel like that one has more of like a matte paper-like reading quality, where this one's just, it kind of reminds me of the Kobo Libra Color, where it just has a little bit more of like a screen look versus e-ink. So that mildly bugs me, but it's not terrible. This is definitely darker than the Kindle Colorsoft though. I do find that I have to have the front light up a lot higher than I do the Colorsoft. And then on top of that, there's not as many options within the Kindle Android app as there are on your actual Kindle. So like the fonts, you can't bold your fonts. If you want like a bolder font, you have to go in and use the Amazon Ember Bold, which I don't like. I really like the Bookerly font, and then I like to do like the +1 bold on there. So unfortunately you can't do that. And then also the dark screen, the black doesn't look bad, but the words are very grayed out when you're trying to read in night mode. And so I found that I was having a really hard time reading at night with the dark mode. The words just do not stand out good at all. There's like settings that you can change and it helps a little bit, but it's still not like a significant enough change. So I just found myself not using dark mode, which I prefer that over the normal light mode. So that is like a huge downfall to me. But if you don't use dark mode, you don't have to worry about it. But other than that, I haven't found any problems with the Kindle app. I do enjoy how big the covers are on here. You can see everything really well. The refresh isn't great. I definitely think that the Colorsoft has better refresh. Again, there's so many settings that you can change, and you can set it. I set it so that if I hold down the top button, it does a full refresh for me. So that'll clear anything up. There's just small things that are just mild annoyances that I feel like if you're really trying to get away from Kindles and you want something where you can have all your reading apps, especially if you use like Webtoon or any other manga readers, this would be perfect because you could have everything right in one place. But again, like I said, with me only using really the Kindle and Libby app, I read mostly Kindle Unlimited books. Like I really don't buy books on my Kindle if it's not available on Kindle Unlimited. I typically just buy the physical book. There's also the other one that I was looking at is the Boox Page, and that is just a black and white version, and it is the same exact thing as this, just obviously black and white. The Go Color 7 comes in a black body or a white body, where the Boox Page only comes in black. And the thing with the Go Color 7 is it has this like texturized back to it, which feels really nice. And the Boox Page is more of like just a flat plastic back and collects fingerprints pretty easily. But other than that, there's really no difference between the two. I thought about getting that one because I don't necessarily need the color, and I find that the colored screens just are not great yet. It has that grainy look to it, which doesn't really bother me that bad, but the biggest thing that I find bothers me more is the dark, kind of more grayed out look, so you have to have the lights up higher, which then gives it more of that screen feel with having the light shine through. On top of this, you can get like Google Drive very easily, and you can go onto the web browser. It's like a normal web browser, not Kindle's web browser, which is just slow and doesn't really work. This one, you can get literally any file that you can think of online and download it. And there is, if you go into library, that's where you're gonna get all like your downloaded, or if you bought a book off of Boox site, but these are going to be where your downloaded ones. I have Manacled downloaded right now, and they use the Neo reader, and I think that that is so, I do really enjoy that. I wish all of my books I could just easily put on here, because this one has like a reader on it where it will read out loud to you. It does have a computer sound to it, so it's not the best sounding audio book, but I mean, you could literally make any book into an audiobook. But the thing that I liked is there's just so many settings in here to like change all your fonts. So like bolding, the sizing, the spacing, the margins. Like, I mean, they let you change everything, the indents, the background color, and it looks way better than like in the Kindle app. So I do wish I could read more with that one. And then they do have a store on here, but it's basically just all classics. That's it. There's no like contemporary books or anything like that. So I mean, the store is kind of not really a store, but then you can see all your storage in the storage tab and what's taking up the most space. And then there is a setting on here to like make what automatically comes up when you turn on your device, and I made mine my apps tab because that's where I have all my stuff that I use, so it automatically will start up on this page every time I turn it on, which is very nice. The Goodreads and the Fable app run okay, but I don't think it's necessarily something that it's not something that I would really like go out of my way to actively scroll on here, because it is just a little slow and laggy. It's not terrible, but I mean, I would still prefer to do this on my phone. But it's nice to be able to just get on there and like update without having to pull out my phone. So let's go ahead and do the little side-by-side comparison. So this is them both at 0 brightness, 0 warmth. And now 100 brightness. Now we'll do full warmth. And for this, I'll just leave them both at 100% brightness. 0 warmth while we're talking about them. And to compare colors, I'll just pull up a couple different covers. So I think that the blacks are darker. Oh, also, I do have this on Vivid and this on Vivid. So they're both on their Vivid settings. And I think that while the Boox Color 7 has a darker black background, you can't see the details as easily. There are certain colors that just are a little bit more vivid on here. Like, I feel like greens are a lot more vivid on here, but I feel like this one kind of washes out the small, like, gray features and kind of over-exaggerates certain colors versus this. So I'll go ahead and show highlights. So I feel like the highlights look better on the Colorsoft than the Boox Go. I feel like the Boox Go, the yellow and the orange, are so similar that it's kind of hard to tell them apart if they're not side by side like this, where I feel like the Colorsoft deepens the colors really well and makes them look a lot better. Again, I'm sure you can I've tried messing around with like the color settings in here, and I cannot get them to be as exaggerated as the Colorsoft, no matter what I do. So that's kind of another drawback. So overall, I think that this is a really great device, especially if you are trying to get out of the Amazon ecosystem, if you still want to read Kindle Unlimited, but you also want to utilize like Libby, Hoopla if you don't mind the sliding instead of getting to use the buttons, or like you want to switch over to say Kobo Books, or you have some other form that you get your books from, especially if you read a lot of manga and you use those other apps. I think that this is a very, very good alternative. You also get the page turning buttons. This is lighter. It is thinner than the Colorsoft. It has more of a square design versus the rectangular. At the end of the day, I think it's all just preference. I don't necessarily think the Colorsoft is better than this one. It's just for what I'm going to be using it for. This just isn't quite what I was looking for. So I think at that point, I'd just rather keep my Colorsoft for my uses versus switching over. I do love the customizations options with these, getting to change the screensaver to whatever I want it to be, any picture that I find. I think that that's such a fun and cool feature. I did really enjoy these buttons. I think they're nice, they're clicky. I like the feel of this device. I love how light it is. And I do love that I can have everything in one place. It's just, I feel like with how much I use Kindle Unlimited, it's just kind of pointless to switch over when I like using dark mode. The things that I feel like I use personally the most don't really work well with this device. So again, the biggest things for me were just the dark mode was not ideal. The wording being kind of grayed out was distracting. It made it harder to read at night. I felt like I had to have the lights up, which kind of grayed out the screen. And I wasn't a fan of that. It didn't make nighttime reading enjoyable. And also with the hoopla happening to be like the sliding, I didn't really like the in-app experience with those either, like the Libby. I just found myself still transferring over my Libby book to the Kindle app because of the more customizable options that the Kindle app itself has. On top of that, the Kindle app isn't as customizable as a normal Kindle. And those were the things that I'm using the most. So for me personally, I just can't make this switch fully out of that. I think for the time being, I'm just going to keep using what I have until I find exactly what I'm looking for, which is basically the Kindle Oasis. I really debated on getting the Boox page after I got this, but then the more research I did and the more comparisons I was seeing, the Boox page dark mode on Kindle pretty much looked the same as this. It's more of like a washed out look rather than that crisp text with the nice dark background with the white lettering. So for the time being, until I find another device that has really good dark mode like the black and white Kindles and Kobos do, I just will stick to what I have for now. But if there's anything that I missed talking about that you're curious on, let me know down in the comments. I'm still going to keep messing around with this for probably another week to really solidify. In like my next reading vlog, I'll probably talk more about this on whether I decided to keep it or not. But if there's anything I didn't touch on that you are curious about, make sure to leave a comment down below. I'll try my best to answer that. If I can't find a good answer, I'll try and find a video that does cover that more and link it for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!